Scallions are part of the allium family, which includes onions, shallots, and a number of different varieties of flowers. Scallions are also referred to as bunching onions. Scallions are basically mild onions where the underground bulb doesn't really grow into an onion, and you can eat both what grows underground and what grows above ground. And because they don't grow onion bulbs, they can be planted really closely together. Now, the seed packet tells us that they take 65 days from when the seeds germinate until when you can pick the scallions, but you can start to harvest them sooner if you want. Scallions are very hardy, which means they can make it through the winter, and sometimes they'll survive through the winter in my yard, especially if I grow them under the protection of one of my greenhouses. You can start scallions indoors, but I prefer to plant them directly outside from seed as soon as the garden's ready in the spring. Scallions prefer slightly acidic soil with a pH between 6.2 and 6.8. They can be planted in the spring for harvesting during the late spring and early summer, and plantings can be staggered by 2 to 3 weeks so that you can harvest scallions throughout the growing season if you want. Scallions planted in midsummer will be ready for harvesting in the fall, so scallions can be grown both as a spring or as a fall crop. When planting in the summer, just remember that growth slows down in the fall as the temperatures are dropping and the days are getting shorter, so give your scallions enough time to establish themselves before the cold weather hits. Now, to plant scallions, make a row that's 2 or 3 inches wide and 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep, and then generously sprinkle seeds evenly throughout the row. Cover the seeds with some fine soil to help with germination and gently water your seeds in. Plants should start to emerge in 1 to 2 weeks. Scallions grow pretty much straight up, so you can plant rows a foot or so apart, even though the seed packet says to put rows about 18 inches apart. Now, carefully pull out weeds, particularly when the plants are small, to give the plants the maximum amount of sunlight so they'll grow and get bigger. Pull the whole plant when harvesting and watch out for intertwined roots. That happens a lot between plants, or you may pull several scallions instead of the 1 or 2 that you really want. Wash the roots and peel off any outer layers that have dried or that still have dirt on them. Cut off the root and use as much of the plant as you want. A lot of people prefer to only use the white part of the scallion, but I find that the green leaves taste great as well. So I tend to use almost the entire plant, particularly when I harvest them when they're young. Now, if you like the white part of the scallion, you can actually mound up the soil around the stem of the plant as the plant grows to block the sun out and create longer white stems. I mentioned earlier that scallions will usually survive the winters in my area. When they make it through the winter, they'll naturally try to flower in the spring and early summer. Now, I usually let 1 or 2 of my scallions go to flower when I need seeds for the following year. But if you don't want them to go to flower, pick the plants as soon as you see any sign that a flower bud is coming, because the plant uses a lot of energy to flower and go to seed. And like with most garden plants, rotate your plantings and move your plants to a different location year after year. If you grow the same plants in the same location year after year, you'll be inviting pests and diseases to gain a stronghold in your garden, and you don't want that.